Hare Krishna Shamchandra Prabhu, you can start now. Thank you.
Okay. Is my screen visible, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, it is visible. Purpose of the saintly persons traveling.
Yes. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for joining in today for this session presentation, which I shall be making. And the topic is purpose of the saintly persons traveling. Before we begin, I would like to recite the Mangalacharan prayers, and after that we can get started. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vidamsha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्थिते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुव एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिनि नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे गुरुवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाये तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्री गुरु
అధినేత ప్రభు వాళ్ళ నాన్న presentation.
परमानंद माधवम श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वरम. Thank you very much, dear devotees, for kindly joining in and kindly bless me that I should be able to speak something that is fitting for this particular topic, that is the purpose of the saintly persons traveling. Today, of course, in India is the most auspicious Tirabhav Tithi of Srila Madhvacharya, who is a Sampradaya Acharya, since we belong to Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. And I'm actually quite excited to be presenting this topic because when the choices available for selections of topic, I was a bit late. And then I saw most of the topics were already selected. And then I selected this one because I feel that this topic forms the basis of our mission of ISKCON, that is a preaching mission. Had it not been for the saintly persons, the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, traveling all over the world and giving their costless mercy, there is very little chance that at least our family would have become entered into devotional life. So with this, I would like to begin. And my topic would revolve around these 6 points. That is introduction to jnana, then importance of learning jnana from a realized person, and then disqualifications and limitations in Kali Yuga that prevents learning of jnana, costless mercy that falls through the traveling saints, the purpose of their travels with examples, and summary. So let's get started. And since we are speaking on Bhagavatam, it would be appropriate to recite the 2 starting verses before we begin any Bhagavatam class. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. So, introduction to Jnana. We have received our fundamental knowledge. We receive fundamental knowledge from our main book of philosophy and also practice, that is Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which is the song of God spoken by the Lord Himself. And importantly, this Bhagavad Gita gives us the foundation knowledge, that is the difference between matter and soul, that means Dehi and Deha, and how these two interact with each other in the Prakriti, in the modes of nature, and in the presence of time, Kala, and then they produce actions, that is karma. So this verse is very famous from Bhagavad Gita 7.5, where Lord says that there are basically 2 types of energies. The one is inferior energy, other one is superior energy. So here he says, what is the superior energy? Apariyamitastvanyam prakritim vidime param jiva bhutam mahabaho yedam dharyate jagat. So besides these ones, besides the material energy, that means earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises of the living entities, that is the jivas, who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. And then we also come to know from Bhagavad Gita the actual difference between Atma and Paramatma, or soul and super soul. So here there is information that we get that the soul is Kshetranyan. That means he has the knowledge of the Kshetra, that is the body, but he has the knowledge of only his Kshetra. For instance, I would not have the knowledge of any other Jivatma's body. But the super soul is a Kshetrajna for the entire living entity. So as sitting as Paramatma in each and every living entity as the watching bird, the soul is the eating bird. So the Paramatma is able to see each and every activity of each and every living entities around the universe. That's a main difference. And then Bhagavad Gita also beautifully explains about the yoga ladder, where it talks about the basic conditioned life or karmis, people who are under sense gratification and primarily enjoy for themselves. And then, of course, the next level is they enter into the karma yoga, where they are able to connect to the Lord through their work, and they offer the fruits of their work to the Lord. Jnana yoga, where basically they are into complete the knowledge of Sankhya. They are more interested in the Sankhya philosophy. They understand all the various elements that are present, and they want to basically become one with the Lord through the meditation, dhyana, through knowledge. And then, of course, there is Dhyana Yoga, also known as Ashtanga Yoga, where you are able to perceive the presence of Lord as Paramatma, as a localized feature. And then they meditate upon that to achieve certain type of siddhi. So all this, whether it's Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, they all after some some resultant actions. They want some benefit out of that. Okay. Whereas Bhakti Yoga, which is the ultimate goal, Here, it is primarily dealing with the Lord, and purely it is about the form of the Lord, and you're getting an opportunity to serve the Lord in the form of Bhagwan. So, this verse is very popular from Bhagavatam 1.2.11. Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwan iti shabdayate. That means Bhakti Yoga ultimately gives us the knowledge of Bhagwan. So the Bhagwan meaning is Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, everything we are able to get, and we are able to have a sambandh in the form of like God is a person. We are able to have a relationship with Him, and then we are able to derive all the necessary rasas from this relationship. So that is basically the ultimate goal as outlined by Bhagavad Gita. So this is the jnanam. And then there is, as Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Srila Prabhupada, they mention two important verses of Bhagavad Gita as the essence of Bhakti Yoga. What are they? The first one is Manmana Bhava Madbhakto Madhya Jimam Namaskuru Mam Eva Ishyasi Satyam Te Pratijane Priyosmi Me. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus, you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my dear friend. So, this is the essence of Bhakti Yoga. That is Krishna consciousness, as we say in ISKCON. So, everything revolves, our activities revolve around Krishna for Krishna's pleasure, transcendental pleasure, and our existence is only for satisfying Him. So, this is Bhakti Yoga. And then, of course, the ultimate understanding is the sarva dharmam paritrajya mamekam sharanam braja am tvam sarva papebhyo mokshashyami ma suchaha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all the sinful reactions. Do not fear, he tells this to Arjuna. So these two verses form the basis of Bhakti Yoga. And also, Subodhini mentions a beautiful point. It says that these two verses, consisting of 64 syllables, are like the jewels embedded on the lid. That means, if you imagine a box, and the box has got the lid, the box has got a base. So the base is Karma Yoga, the lid is Jnana Yoga, and then inside, the most precious is the Bhakti Yoga. And the lid of that box are these two verses as embedded, as mentioned in Subodhini. So then there is Jnana and Vijnana. So Jnana more or less gives us the knowledge of the phenomenal world, and Vijnana is a self-realized knowledge arising from experiential evidence after associating with self-realized transcendentalists. So it gives a complete knowledge of the spiritual world as experienced by the transcendentalist. So when we associate with such transcendentalists, then they impart this kind of knowledge. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, this complete knowledge, that is jnanam te aham sa vijnanam idam vakshyami ashesatah yajnatva neha bhuyo jnatvam jnatavyam avashishyate. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. That is the knowledge of the material world and the knowledge of spiritual world, and also the source behind the two. This being known, nothing further shall remain to you for you to be known. So why am I bringing all this in the beginning of this class? The only reason is because this is what actually the traveling saints actually give us. So we can learn this knowledge from them, and then they come to their understanding. Their understanding of absolute truth is what Arjuna understood. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan, Purusham, Shashvatam, Divyam, Adi Devam, Ajam Vibhum. We come to an understanding that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn and the greatest. So this is what actually the pure devotees, dear devotees, this is what the pure devotees possess. That is Jnana and Vijnana. And because they follow the path of Bhakti Yoga. And talking of Savijnanam, there is a beautiful journal by our BhaktiVaibhava Institute called as Savijnanam Scientific Exploration for a Spiritual Paradigm. Recently, volume 11 has been issued. This is an annual journal, and the first one was issued by my Guru Maharaj in 2002. And till the time of his existence in this world, material world, Up to 4 volumes were released, and now 11 volumes have come out. So this volume also focuses on Jnana and Vijnanam. Okay, now we go to the next important point of our presentation, that is importance of learning Jnana from a realized person. So we understand that even, see, when we go to acquire material knowledge, we cannot say that I just studied from a book and I became a PhD. Nobody would value that kind of knowledge. We say that we went to Harvard, we went to Stanford, we went to MIT or IIT in India, or different colleges, NITs, etc. And then you get certain value. So similarly, there is a importance of learning this kind of knowledge from a realized person. So we'll see what is that. So such realized people are also known as Tattva Darshinaha, because they have actually seen the absolute truth. And there is a vidhi of learning this knowledge from them. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadyakshanti te jnaninas tattva darshina. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So these kind of we should constantly look for such people. So you can have a spiritual Diksha Guru, you can have a Siksha Guru, and you can have multiple Siksha Gurus. And so such Siksha Gurus are also very, very valuable, because Diksha Gurus, we may not be on a day-to-day basis touch with them, but the Siksha Gurus are somebody with whom we can relate, we can ask all our queries on a regular basis, and they are able to get the answer, because all this, and our entire basis of knowledge is Guru Parampara. So as a result, we see that Prabhupada gives a very good analogy. He says that just like how the forest fire can only be extinguished by the clouds that pour water, and these clouds that pour water, how do they pour water? Only by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So similarly, undesirable happenings in our life can be at once arrested, or can be completely vanquished by the mercy of this such kind of Tattva Darshanas, as Prabhupada mentions. And moreover, when we interact with such realized souls of the saints, it gives us the confidence that from the practical experience that the saints share with us, how they navigated a particular situation, and then if we follow that example, Mahajana Yeno Gata Supanta, we follow their footsteps, then what happens is it becomes very scientific, because you followed, you got a result. I follow, I experience something similar, provided I follow exactly in your footsteps. So the seeker therefore becomes a recipient of Mahat Kripa, which is very, very vital. When we serve and please a guru or a saint, then what happens is we please that particular superior, and then that superior bestows his kripa, which is called as Mahat Kripa. And this is very, very vital, as explained even by Jadabharat to King Rahuguna in the 5th canto 12:12. He says, Vina Mahat Padarajo Abhishekam. That is, without doing the Abhishekam with the dust of the lotus feet of such Mahat people, and from the Pada of those great people, we cannot make spiritual advancement. And also here we see in the 1st canto itself, in the during Narada's previous lifetime, where he says that Uchishta Lepan Anumodito Vijehe Tad Dharma Evatma Ruchi Prajayate. He got the opportunity to taste the remnants of those Bhakti Vedantas who were traveling, and who got a chance to stay in their house during the monsoon season. And then by constantly serving them and by tasting the remnants of their prasad, and with their permission, of course, Anumodito, this kind of ruchi, taste towards their, the mellows that they are experiencing, towards bhakti, that got awakened in Narada in the previous life as son of maid servant. And there's a good analogy also given: mother cat and kitten versus monkey, mother monkey versus baby monkey. So mother cat, when it holds the kitten, we must have seen it holds from the mouth. And whereas the mother monkey holds the baby in two different ways. The baby sits on the back of the mother monkey, or the baby latches onto the stomach of mother monkey, as we see in Vrindavan. So between the two, the most secure one is the mother cat versus kitten. because here the kitten does not have to worry anything. The entire responsibility is of the mother, and the kitten has got complete confidence that my mother will take care of me. I just have to have faith in her, and then she will do the rest. Whereas in the case of the the baby monkey puts in effort to stay on the back of the monkey. The monkey might jump from one branch or one twig to another branch or another twig. So the baby monkey has to adjust accordingly. And so a lot of efforts are required by the baby monkey. So why I'm bringing these two analogies is because the mother cat versus mother cat and kitten example analogy is exactly what is the analogy when we take the blessings of the traveling saints or the saints in general. And the mother monkey versus baby monkey is something when we try to learn on our own from scriptures. It is said Guru Sadhu Shastra. But if you just read the Shastras without understanding the Tattva from Guru or Sadhus, then we would be in the wrong direction. We would not understand the real essence the way that the Sadhus and Guru have understood. So, therefore, our approach is like the mother cat kitten approach. Now, it comes to the third point of our discussion, that is, having discussed what is jnana and how the importance of learning jnana from a realized person, the next thing is we should also practically understand and at least realize that practically in Kali Yuga, there are some disqualifications and limitations which are preventing us from learning this jnana. If we don't even come to this understanding of learning this kind of limitations and disqualifications, we will be in a fool's paradise. We'll keep on continuing in our ignorant state, and we will never be able to get this knowledge. We'll keep saying that जब बुलावा आता है तब हम जाके दर्शन ले लेंगे. बुलावा तो हमेशा आता है, but are we taking the efforts? No, we are not taking the efforts because we are not having the qualifications and because we have the limitations. So, dear devotees, let us see what this disqualification and limitations are. So, the first canto, first chapter mentions clearly the limitations, and these limitations is Prayena alpa ayusha sabhya kala vasmin yuge janaha manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya hi upadrutaha. So Prayena alpa ayusha, we are actually in Kali Yuga, our lifespan is very, very short. We want to achieve so many things in life. Every time, right from the time that I remember in school, when everybody used to ask, what do you want to become when you grow big? The common answer would be, I want to become a pilot. 9 out of 10 students will say, I want to become a pilot. Or they'll say, I want to become an engineer, I want to become a doctor. But there is no vision. And then when we go to college, then we understand economics, we understand finance, we understand a few more aspects in technology, and then our automatically vision opens up. So there are so many things in life to be learned like that. At some stage, we also understand the spiritual, acquiring spiritual knowledge is also important. So do we prioritize that? No, we are so much conditioned to chase the material goals, and then we say that we will do the spiritual, acquiring the spiritual knowledge at the end of our life or when we get retired. But who has seen when we are going to retire? How do we know how long we are going to live? Here clearly Shastra, Bhagavatam says, our life is short. Prayana alpa ayusha. So therefore, it is very, very difficult to predict when we are going to leave. So the earlier, the better. And also, because it is Kali Yuga, the age of quarrel and hypocrisy, we will be always having this issue of people around us quarreling and then having some disharmony and so on. And Manda Sumanda Matayo, we have terrific limitations. We are lazy, Manda. And then on top of that, we are misguided, Sumanda Matayo. And if that is not enough, we are also unlucky. Manda Bhagyo. We are very, very unfortunate. And most above all that, Upadritaha. Upadritaha means we are completely disturbed all the time. And this practically we all have experienced. This is not just Shastra says and we are repeating like parrot. Shastra is giving us the knowledge and we are experiencing it and we are saying, yes, I'm also experiencing the same thing. Yes, the age is quarrelsome. Yes, I was misguided in the past. And this misguided thing is what actually most of us come to this conclusion. Kal kya hoga, kisko pata, abhi zindagi ka le lo maza. This completely misguided society or misguided seniors in the college, they make us, say that there's no life after this. There's only one life, enjoy this life and so on. So this is coming purely from avidya. and ignorance. And then we see what are the disqualifications. So we saw the limitations which are actually coming in the way of learning this Nyanya. And then now the disqualifications, as Kunti Devi is nicely putting. She says, Janma Aishwarya Shruta Shribir. These four, Janma Aishwarya Shruta Shribir, Edamana Mada Puman. These are the actual limitations. Because this birth in a high family, aristocratic family, Aishwarya, great opulence, possess great opulence in the form of wealth, in the form of beauty or whatever. Shruta, high education. Sometimes we get puffed up with this. And then also Shribir, that's also beauty. So these four, when we have, we get puffed up. And when we get puffed up, then automatically we forget the Lord because everything is going in our favor. Why should we think of the Lord? So Edamana Madapuman. Na iva harti abhidatum. Na iva harti abhidatum vai tom akinchana gocharam. So unless we are completely exhausted, like a poor man, materially exhausted, lying on the street, completely exhausted, we are begging. We are begging because our bank balance is zero. We have declared bankruptcy, completely gone. Now we are on the streets. Where we will go? We'll have to beg. So that kind of situation, Kunti Maharani says, is one that is really favorable for us to cultivate this spiritual knowledge. But we are so fortunate that Srila Prabhupada has given us through the teachings of Srila Rupa Goswami that how by staying where you are, you can practice devotional service. So if we get knowledge at the early age, if we are understanding the pitfalls of not having this knowledge, then we can shape our life and our goal properly. Then we can automatically find to receive this knowledge from these superiors. So now we come to the fourth point of discussion, that is having understood the first three, that is Jnana, importance of learning Jnana from a realized person, the disqualifications and limitations in Kali Yuga, the costless mercy. So costless mercy is very, very Mahat Kripa, is very, very important because this is coming only through traveling saints or saints in general. So here we'll see the example of Narad Muni. So Narad Muni's example will come two times. Once, in this case, as we will see, as an example when he is the recipient. Now here he will discuss about how he was the recipient of this mercy from the traveling saints. And the second example which will come later of how he gives this mercy to others. So let us discuss this mercy. Costless mercy comes from the traveling saints. And saints, we know that sometimes they curse, sometimes they give blessings. But both actually are the same. So as Narada found out from his previous two lives, that's mentioned in 1.5 from 23 to 31. So during the first life of his name was Upabarana. So here he was a Gandharva and he was a wonderful singer in the heavenly planet. And he was so handsome, his voice was so beautiful that automatically it made him attractive to the opposite sex. And he thus became a playboy. And in the process, he lost his real goal of the spiritual perspective. And he was getting into the materialistic lifestyle. But that said, he was invited by the Prajapatis in the higher planets to come and lend his voice because there was a yagya that was being performed. And the Upabarana had a special invitation to please come and then sing because his voice is very, very nice. Everybody enjoys his voice. So when he went there to sing, instead of singing the glories of the Lord and glorifying through his voice the glories of the Lord, he started glorifying the demigods. So this is akin to like today, let's say we are inviting people, different devotees for Sankirtan program. At home, there is a program and I'm inviting different devotees, and because of their various singing voice, they sing good kirtans. But after coming home, if that person forgets that he has come to sing a kirtan, and instead if he starts singing some Bollywood song, or he's so much attached to Bollywood song that he is singing a kirtan, Mahamantra, after a very famous tune of a Bollywood song because he's attracted to the Bollywood music, then what happens? We don't get a good feeling that bhakti's element is missing. So that is what exactly happened to these pure devotees who were present in this yagya, in this planet where Upavarna was invited. And as a result, these pure devotees cursed Upavarna that may you be born in the next life as the son of a Shudra. Now, this apparently looked like a curse, but because it came from the mouth of pure devotees, it turned out to be the blessing in disguise. Because we find that in the next birth, Narada Muni was born as the son of a maid servant. Now, here what happened was when he was around 5 years old, he had the good fortune of seeing and also serving the Bhakti Vedantas. The Bhakti Vedantas stayed with him and his Shudra mother because it was a monsoon period, and then they were passing by, so they took shelter of their house or kutir for about 4 months. Now, during this period, what happened was this young boy who was Upabharana in the previous life, being cursed to be born as a Shudra son, he got the opportunity to serve these Bhakti Vedantas. And how did he serve? He washed their plates. He patiently heard their transcendental message, whatever they were, what is emanating from their lotus mouth. He could hear everything. And most importantly, he ate the remnants, uchista, as we saw in one of the slides earlier. He could get the opportunity to eat their uchista. And because of all that, these Bhakti Vedantas, when they were leaving, they gave through their glance and through the blessings, they gave the complete mercy. And because they found that this boy was not an ordinary boy, for the 5-year-old boy who should be playful, making fun, mischief, going out to play with his friends, he didn't have any of those qualities. He had a maturity of a very advanced devotee. And then, because of all that, they liked him so much that they blessed him. And that complete blessing was the reason why he became Narad Muni in the next life. So you find that in this life of when he was the son of the maid servant, you could follow the entire process, the 14-step process as we call, right? Starting from Satam Kripa, Mahat Seva, Shraddha, Guru Padashraya, and so on. It goes up to Prema. By Prema, he even surpassed Prema. He got also because he got Darshanam of the Lord. And as a result, he could taste the Madhuri Anubhav, Harer Madhuri Anubhav, that is sweetness of the Lord. So, and because when he saw the Lord directly, that is where he completely got purified. So this was how the mercy came by the traveling saints for Narad Muni. And in fact, at one point of time, even the Lord, Vishnu was so pleased with him that he asked him, what can I do to serve you? And Narada's reply was, I don't care where I may be, but I pray that I may be allowed to constantly remember your lotus feet. So to such an extent, he was attached to the lotus feet of the Lord that he just could not think of anything else. So every second, every minute, every hour, he was completely thinking, absorbed in the lotus feet of the Lord, and it was giving him a great inner bliss. So that is how the causeless mercy. Now we come to the point of purpose of their travels. All these saints who are traveling, what is their purpose? And we'll cover few examples now that I've got some more time. Initially, I thought I'll cover 3 examples, but now maybe I'll cover 5 examples. So let's see one by one these examples and what was and how did they give this kind of blessings to the mankind at large. So we'll cover these 5 examples. Narada Muni again, Vidura, Srila Sukdev Goswami, then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself as in the form of a devotee, and our own Srila Prabhupada. So Narada Muni is also known as a transcendental spaceman. In fact, in our parampara, he is acknowledged as one of the first ever preachers in this entire universe. Narada means Nara is Narayan, and the comes from the mool word Dadati. Narayan Dadati iti Narada. So the person who can give us the Lord's name, Roop, Nama Rupa, Guna Leela, such person is Narada. So Narada Muni is basically a transcendental spaceman. So in the first canto, 6th chapter, 34th verse, Narada Muni himself experiences this. He says, Etadyatura chittana matra sparshe chayamuhu bhavasindu plavo drishto hari charyanuvarnanam. Hari charyanuvarnanam is Harikatha. This Harikatha is the most suitable boat, he says. Bhavasindhu, most suitable, say, Plava, to cross this material ocean, that is Bhavasindhu. For those who are full of anxieties, Atura Chittanam. And because we are constantly, this anxiety is coming because constantly our senses and sense objects are in touch. We want to enjoy the sense objects. Matra Sparshe Chaya. So here Narada Muni is saying from his own experience, he says, therefore, the most suitable boat is Harikatha. And that is what he has taken as his own pledge. He says, I will personally go and distribute this Harikatha to everyone. In the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu himself reveals that Narada Muni is a Shakti-Avesh avatar, where he had the opulence of devotion. He was completely empowered by the Lord himself. And therefore, Narada says that Lord Krishna personally bestowed upon him. What did he bestow? Jnanam, Aishwaryam, Swasmin Bhavam. So Jnanam is the spiritual knowledge, Aishwaryam is the spiritual opulence, and Swasmin Bhavam is the benefit of getting loving devotional service in a very intimate manner. So all these three, Narada Muni was completely bestowed, as he himself says this from his own experience. And because of that, now see the benefit he has given virtually everywhere. He is present, and he has delivered Valmiki. From hunter, he made him a great sage. Dhruva Maharaj, who was after material opulence, he gave him the knowledge and he made him a great devotee. Prahlad, when he was in the womb itself, he appeared and he gave him the complete knowledge of the Lord. And as a result, Prahlad, since the time of his birth, he was completely attached to Vishnu. Manigrava and Nalakubera. Manigrava and Nalakubera also were delivered. Manigrava and Nalakubera represent our pravritti. In Kali Yuga, most of the people are exactly of the same mentality. They want to enjoy with the opposite sex and in all possible ways, and no respect for advanced devotees or seniors, elders. Manigrava and Nalakuvara, the devotees represent that. And it appeared apparently externally that Narada Muni cursed them to become the trees. But ultimately, the blessings they received was that Lord himself will come and deliver them. So that was how Narada Muni's kripa fell upon Manigrava and Nalakuvara. Similarly, Chitraketu, we know how he gave him the knowledge about the present life and the father, son, when he was missing, he didn't have a son. Vyasadev, when he was morose, with not fully satisfied after compiling all the literature, he gave him the essence that this is you need to glorify the Lord, and you need not cover the Purushartha so much in an elaborate way. You have to focus more on the fifth Purushartha, that is Prema Pumarto Mahan. So that's how actually Narada Muni influenced Vyasadeva and made him a great devotee after that. And the Pandavas, Narada Muni was very close to the Pandavas, because after the entire battle was over and after everyone left, even after Krishna went to Dwarka, that time when Yudhishthira Maharaj was getting slowly, very much morose, that suddenly he found that his uncles were missing. Even Mother Gandhari was missing. And he didn't know what to do. He was actually trying to find out from Sanjaya. But Sanjaya himself felt that they have cheated him, that they have left him alone and gone. So at that time, suddenly from nowhere, Narada appears. And Narada consoles Yudhishthira Maharaj. And he gives him the same knowledge what Krishna gave of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. So he tells him the difference between body and soul. And then he asks Yudhishthira to come out of this kind of false lamentation, and gives him the higher principles of life, the purpose of the soul. And he enlightens him. He awakens his complete chitta. Similarly, Narada Muni also had a role to play in the Prachetas. So in general, Narada Muni, as we see, that he has been a guru or a troubleshooter in many, many situations. So in that way, as a traveling spaceman, transcendental qualities he possessed and he possesses, and he continues to inspire. And the basis of his teaching is expressed in Narada Bhakti Narada Bhakti Sutras and Narada Pancharatra. These two scriptures are giving the essence of all his teachings. Then we come to the next great saint, Vidura. So Vidura, we know, was the knowledgeable devotee king. Shudra son was a brother of Dhritarashtra, and then he was trying to give knowledge to Dhritarashtra, but Dhritarashtra would never listen because Dhritarashtra was completely enveloped by the love towards his demonic son Duryodhan. And so when the war began, he left the palatial accommodation of Dhritarashtra and went on a travel mission, that is pilgrimage, because he wanted to get his himself perfected. Atmano Gatim. He perfected through the nice interaction with Maitra Muni. So Maitra Muni and he had interactions which is spanning several chapters and also cantos, and that enlightened him. He was already a pure devotee and got further enhanced, and his love for Krishna only increased. So therefore, when he came back after finishing all this pilgrimage, and he came back, and when Yudhishthira Maharaj received him, Yudhishthira Maharaj was very, very happy to receive him and gave him all the respects, and then uttered this most famous verse in the Bhagavatam. Because this verse, if we know, then we'll know the purpose of going to any place of pilgrimage, any place of pilgrim, and then also our objective of pilgrimage. Why we should look for the sadhus who are the cause for making the place holy. Bhavatvidha Bhagavatas Tirtha Bhutah Swayam Vibho Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani Swantastena Gadabhrataha. Yudhishthira Maharaj says, my dear Lord, devotees like your good self are verily the holy places personified. Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho. Why to go to the various holy places? Just associate with you. We'll get all the benefits of the holy place. Why? Because you are Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani Swantastena Gadabrita. You carry the personality of Godhead within your heart. You are so pure because you cannot think of anything other than the lotus feet of the Lord and service to the lotus feet of the Lord. And therefore, through your purity, you can turn any place or all places into the places of pilgrimage. So Prabhupada gives a good analogy here. He says that our Vidura is like an electric bulb. The electric bulb gets its energy, from the source, that is electricity station. So just like how Lord is the possessor of all the energies, the pure devotees like Vidura, wherever they go, they draw his energy and they distribute. So just like an electric bulb, I have not seen the electricity station, but I have seen the bulb and I'm getting the light. So therefore, even if I don't see the Lord, but by merely associating with such pure devotees, or when the pure devotees, traveling people, they give their association to me, I'm able to get the same benefit. So it's like Santas Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Brahma Samhita Santa Sadhaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Achintya Guna Swarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Even in Brahma Samhita, you find a similar verse, same words. Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. They carry, whom they carry? Sham Sundar. Sham Sundar's Achinta Guna Swarupam. They carry the Nam, Rupa, Guna, Illa, everything inside. So they are like, self-contained holy place themselves. And their eyes are anointed with Prema, Krishna Prema. So they cannot see anything. Their vision is always seeing Krishna all the time. What is that verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita? Stavara Jangama Deke, na Deke Tara Murti. What is that after that? Sarvatra Hoye Nija. Sarvatra Hoye Nije Ishtadev Spruti. That means I basically am the pure devotee is seeing both the immovable and movable things. But he is not seeing their form. If he sees a mountain, he will not look at it as a mountain. He will see that as Krishna's energy. Because is saying only Krishna all the time. Even when he's drinking water, something that is flowing from the water, he will remember that I am the taste in water. Rasopiam apsi kauntaya. He will think that way. So that is the speciality of the pure devotee, like Vidura. So when such devotees they travel, and while traveling, when they are meeting the different people, they are like a touchstone, and as a result, they can transform our hearts. Then next important person is Srila Sukdev Goswami. The same we are discussing about the various traveling saints. Now here Sukdev Goswami came from nowhere. Just see the will of providence. Our Parikshit Maharaj was in his dying situation. He's already been cursed by Shringi, the son of Sabik Rishi. And then he's sitting with several sages at the banks of Ganges. And then he's asking the question, two prominent questions he's asking. And the question is, what is the duty of mankind at all times? And what is the duty of a dying person? What he must be doing? And when he asked this relevant question to the sages actually were discussing and debating amongst themselves. They could not come to a consensus. Some were saying that I think tapasya is the main, we should follow tapasya. Some was saying that no, sacrifice is to be followed. And somebody was saying something else. So austerity. So like that, different people were giving, somebody said sacrifice. So different ways they were trying to explain, they could not come to a consensus. And while they were praying, suddenly they saw that this great personality, Sukdev Goswami, is coming their way. And he came like a moon amidst the stars. And thus he was respected by all. Nobody bothered or cared that he was naked because he was a pure soul. There was no difference between his material body and spiritual body. It was completely transcendental. And when Parikshit Maharaj saw him, he was so much enlivened that he spoke these three important verses. First verse is 1.19.32. Aho adya vayam brahman sat sevaya kshatriya bandhavaha kripayati rupena bhavadbhistirtha kritah bhavadbhistirtha krita. So what this means is again similar to the previous verse, that is Tirthi Kurvan Tirthani. He says that as a oh Brahman, Sat Sevaya, you are giving this opportunity to serve you, even though I am a Shatra Bandhava, I am unworthy Kshatriya or king. Kripaya Atiti, you are giving your mercy as a guest through your personal presence. And Bhavad means Tirthakaha Kritaha. That means you are actually completely yourself holy place personified, and you are giving your mercy. Haribol, can you please bring the adapter? I am running out of charge. Adapter is kept in that room. Can you please bring? Thank you. Then he says another verse after that. Yesham samsmaranat pumsam sadya shuddyanti vaigraha kim punardarshana sparsha pada saucha sanadibihi. So he says that merely, just 1 second, I'm connecting the adapter. I'm running out of charge. Yes. So he says that merely by remembering you, merely by remembering you, our home is getting purified. Shuddhayanti. It gets completely sanctified, purified. Then what to speak of taking your darshan? You're coming in front of me and I'm getting a sense of touching you. Sparsha, pada saucha. And if I wash your lotus feet, then what more? What not can I achieve? So your whole purpose has actually now cleansed our home. And therefore our entire life is purified. So that is how actually is glorifying the Sukdev Goswami. And then he also says one more verse number 34. Sanidhyate mahayogin patakani mahanti api sadyo nashyanti vaipumsam vishnur iva suretaraha. He says, oh great soul. He says that just as the Pumsam Vishnu Riva Surita. That's just like how the atheist cannot stand in front of Vishnu. Similarly, Patakani means the sins which are accumulated, the vulnerable sins which are accumulated cannot, they all completely get vanquished, Nashayanti, by your presence. So this is how actually Sukdev Goswami, the Parikshit Maharaj is getting a complete realization by just immediate interaction with Sukdev Goswami, and then that sets the scene for the entire Bhagavatam to be revealed to all of us. Then we come to Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu, of course, is Supreme Personality of Godhead, but when he comes in the form of a devotee of the Lord, the Lord himself comes as a devotee, show to us how a devotee should be, how a pure devotee should be, how we can become a pure devotee. And after the famous Rath Yatra in Puri, after that, when he is planning to go to Vrindavan, he crosses the famous Jharkhand forest, and there he makes all the animals, including tiger, the elephants, the deer, monkeys, birds, all of them dance. Gachan Vrindavanam Gauro Vyagre Bhaina Kaghan Vane Premon Mattan Sahon Nrityan Vidate Krishna Jalpinaha. See how when he's going towards Vrindavan, he comes across this forest and he makes all these animals dance. And then completely he makes them Sahon Nrityan, make them dance. So all these kinds of animals, there is Vyagre, that is birds, tiger, elephants, Khagan, birds, all these are basically he makes them dance. So this is all the Leela, how a pure saint, just like a touchstone, can make not only human beings, but he can create an impact even on the other living beings also. And of course, the entire associates of Mahaprabhu were completely benefited, and thanks to their association is coming in a parampara. Our parampara is Guru Parampara, the Shat Goswamis who brought the message of Mahaprabhu to us, and from there we got it through Srila Prabhupada. And that brings us to this the last saint which I'm covering, that is Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is such a I'm just wondering what would have happened if Prabhupada would not have been there in our lives. यदि प्रभुपाद न होइतो ताबे की होइतो ए जीवन भैत किसे निताय गौरेरा अपार करुणा हे दीत सकल देशे. If Srila Prabhupada had not come, what would have happened? How could we have passed our lives? Who else would have distributed the unlimited mercy of Lord Nityananda and Lord Gauranga all over the world? The beautiful poem which is composed by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj ki jai. So I've just taken the first verse. There are plenty of verses in this, but this goes to show the greatness of Srila Prabhupada. And we know that Srila Prabhupada left Bharat Bhumi to Paschasya Desha as per the instruction of his spiritual master, His Holiness Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. And just he wanted to uplift the consciousness of the Western world. The hippies at that time were spreading their culture all over, and Bhakti Siddhanta Swami was very much concerned because this will eventually spoil the entire consciousness of the entire world. So he deputed his prime soldier, Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada, like a mission, as you can see, just carrying one small suitcase which resembles like a briefcase and one umbrella and chanting mala, and just carrying 40 rupees, equivalent of 40 rupees in his pocket. And then he's going. And in the separate trunk, he had some, maybe the first volume of Srimad Bhagavatam. The first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 3 volumes were ready with that. And he was traveling. And he took so much of pain that when he landed in Boston Pier, he did not know whether to go left or right. But he had only one thing he knew, that he has to spread the glories of the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. And for doing this, how much trouble he has taken. At the time when he was trying to preach to the so-called hippies, the hippies were all over him. he tolerated everything. Some of them were dancing over him. Some of them even mistakenly kicked him, thinking him to be a normal soul. He tolerated all that because he had only one thing, the instruction of his spiritual master, and he knew that this will come back and spread across the whole world if he succeeds in obeying the instructions of his spiritual master. And then there were also things when sometimes the hippie tried to attack Srila Prabhupada. He endured all that. And then, he had to explain to them why he want to smoke. And he had to give them the real knowledge because they were at such a level of consciousness that they could not just understand anything other than smoking, the huffings and opiums and all those kind of things, because that was giving them the kick to stay high. So Prabhupada gave them the ultimate knowledge, which will keep them in a higher consciousness, much higher, highest consciousness. And that is how he transformed everyone. You can see from them, he gradually made them, and he taught them all the musical instruments, the kirtan, including harmonium, the mridanga, kartal, everything he taught them, and they were almost getting transformed. And eventually they transformed, and with all clean shaven, they became his disciples. So you can see here, and the only person who is not clean shaven on his left is my Guru Maharaj. He was permitted because he was actually a scientist and he had certain goal to achieve as per Srila Prabhupada's instruction to preach to the scientific community. So as time, place, circumstances, he was permitted to keep certain attire as per need of the hour. But whole purpose is Prabhupada did whatever it takes to preach to any type of people. And if Prabhupada had not done that, we would be not getting this message. We got this message through the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. My family has been hugely benefited. There is no two thoughts about it. I mean, if I think about how we came into Krishna consciousness and what kripa we got from Srila Prabhupada's disciples during those days in the 90s in Radha Rasbihari temple, they were all traveling saints. They were coming from all over the world. Gopal Krishna Maharaj, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, His Holiness Narmada Maharaj, His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Sridhar Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, and so many. My own Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Swarup Damaswami Maharaj, and many more, many more. I lost even count. And we had a chance to interact with everybody, and just their glance, and the worship of their lotus feet by just paying dandavats to them, and then maybe briefly interacting with them, trying to understand the tattva, all that, combined potency, was infused. So if at a young age, if somebody gets a chance to interact with pure devotees, then there's a good chance that such devotees can go forward and carry out the mission of preaching very effectively. So in summary, I come to the last slide now. The seeker of truth must try to find out and take blessings from pure devotees, that is traveling saints, as they transform even unholy place by their actions. As by their actions, the pure devotees of Lord can render any place into the place of pilgrimage. The holy places are worth the name only on their account, because we can go and take bath in so many holy places, but the places are made holy only by such pure devotees. Such pure devotees are able to rectify the polluted atmosphere of any place, even if the holy place is rendered unholy by questionable actions of interested persons who try to adopt a professional life at the cost of the reputation of holy place. In fact, about 4 days back, one video went viral in WhatsApp, where in the Kumbh Mela, one sadhu spotted that in one of the tents, in the prominent place, non-veg food was being cooked. Nobody was aware. And this sadhu spotted, and he immediately brought the tent down. And that the video showed how this sadhu, in a fit of rage of anger, immediately went and he pulled down the tent, and he started beating this unholy person who was cooking non-veg in that holy place in the banks of Prayagraj. So this is also very, very vital. And but when holy saints travel, even such unholy acts will be converted, it will be transformed, and the place will once again be rendered holy. The pure devotee He's always interested to uplift the consciousness of mankind by always connecting him to Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is his only interest. He has got no other agenda, no other self-interest. Such an act is only for the pleasure of Supreme Personality of Godhead and with no other motive. And then because of that, we know this verse is very popular. Ashesha Sanklesha Samam Vidate Gudanuvada Shravanam Murare Kim Va Punasta Charanaраvinda Paraga Seva Ratiratma Labdha. Ashesha Sanklesha, our unlimited miseries gets vanquished just by Shravanam of Murare, just by hearing Gunanuvada, his transcendental pastimes, his qualities, Leela, everything, just you hear Murare is Krishna. And with that, all this miseries, unlimited of them, it keeps on coming, they get vanquished. Then what to speak of persons who get attracted to serve the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord? When we take association of such people, such saints, pure saints, then definitely our life is getting perfected. So with that, I would like to conclude today's session. I'm sorry, I really took all of my time, I think, because there was no other speaker. And I wanted to thank you all for giving your wonderful, valuable presence and hearing. And if there are any questions or comments, we can take it now. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. It was a very detailed explanation and a very beautiful presentation you have made. So, the whole time we were just focused on what you were speaking and absorbing it. So it was such a nectarian discourse from you. Thank you so much. Looks like you have put a lot of effort. I'll ask if anybody has any comments or a question, please raise your hand and we can go turn by turn.
I'm just imagining, had it been only for 30 minutes, what I would have done. I would have then probably skipped few things and I would have probably, just made a shortcut.
I think you did
Yes,
the
Shantradhika Mataji has raised her hand. Yes, Mataji, please give your blessings.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
No questions, but a small comment. Ki thank you so much for such a nice class and presentation. And please pray for me. इन सबको आप सबको सुनके तो ऐसे लगता है कि I am nowhere to give any presentation. तो please.
नहीं माताजी, ऐसा नहीं होता है. When your turn comes, automatically you will see that I am nowhere in front of you. So that will be the status. So definitely we are all eager to hear from you.
No, it's not that, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for such a nice class. And such a, matlab, I am just learning how to give the presentation, like starting कैसे करनी चाहिए, in between कैसे होना चाहिए और end कैसे होना चाहिए. And everything is so related, like आपने नारद मुनि की life history से पूरा उसको किया. And basically मेरा topic नारद मुनि है, तो more interestingly I was listening कि how to present it. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Wonderful. So you can speak in detail about Narad Muni and we'll all be enlightened by that.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much once again.
Any other questions or comments, anyone? Okay. I think probably everybody is just absorbing the content. So thank you so much. If there are no questions or comments, then we can end and continue tomorrow with the session again.
Thank you so much. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Thank you so much.
Bhakti Vaibhava Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Yeah.
Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much for giving your nice association to me. Hare Krishna.